everybody, this is my friend Cooper, and we are going to read one of my favorite stories for you today called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Wow. Once there was, and probably still is, a magical wardrobe. It was made from the wood of a magic apple tree, and you could, if you would, climb through the back to another world, to a magical land called Narnia. But now, that world was ruled by an icy white witch, whose wand could turn you to stone, and whose power could be broken only with the help of 4 children. And of course, right here on this side of the wardrobe were 4 children: Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, all of them longing for adventure. Lucy, the youngest, she's right there, and most longing, was first to push past the furry coats, all the coats in that wardrobe. Sorry, Cooper's paw's in the way, but whatever. And find herself in a snowy wood under a street lamp, where the witch's wickedness had made it always winter. Oh, that would stink. I mean, I like snow and all, but I don't want it to always be winter. I like spring and summer. Always winter and never Christmas. Imagine that, came a voice. It was Mr. Tumnus, a faun. He was working for the witch, even though he knew it was wrong. "Good evening," he said, staring hard at Lucy. "You are a human child, are you not? Come through the Wild West woods?" "No," said Lucy. "Through the wardrobe, in the spare room." Wardrobe. Spare room. Never heard of them, said Mr. Tumnus. "But someone like you is expected, and a toasty tea awaits you." After tea, to Lucy's surprise, Mr. Tumnus began to weep so hard that there were puddles all over the floor. Lucy had often wanted to cry like that herself, and was most sympathetic, which made Mr. Tumnus blurt out the truth. "I'm supposed to hand you over to her wicked white majesty, but now that I've met you, I can't, I won't, even though I'll be turned to stone if I don't." Lucy promised she wouldn't let that happen. After all, she said, a witch is only a witch until someone stands up to her in the right way. "So I'll get my brothers and sister, and that's what we'll do." But before Lucy could persuade Peter and Susan that there was a wicked white witch, through the wardrobe Edmund secretly slipped through to see for himself, and bumped straight into her. At once, the white witch saw he was just the kind of boy she could win over with a box of her enchanted Turkish delight. "And there'll be lots more, rooms full of it," she tempted him, "if you'll only bring your brother and sisters to my house." I will, said Edmund, stuffing and gobbling, without stopping to think what might happen to them if he did. "Then I'll make you a king." That beautiful, wickeder than wicked witch smiled. And there's Edmund enjoying all his Turkish delight. Never had a Turkish delight, have you? I don't know. So, when a few days later all 4 children did go through the wardrobe together, Edmund was quite ready to deliver the others to the witch, just to get his mouth around more of that magic must-have Turkish delight. Of course, he said nothing as they trudged through the snow in coats borrowed from the wardrobe. He said nothing when they found Mr. Tumnus's cave ransacked. Look, it's all torn apart. Somebody broke into it. He said not a word when a talking beaver told them that Mr. Tumnus had been dragged away by the witch's secret wolf police. Lucy, on the other hand, was furious. "Well, that does it," she cried. "I'm not leaving until that witch has had her wand smashed and her wickedness stamped on." Mr. Beaver was thrilled to hear Lucy talk like this and hurried them back to his house, for a what to do about the witch meeting. Looks like I put Cooper to sleep. Look at that. Well, can't entertain them all. Wow, what a house. You have come at exactly the right time, said Mrs. Beaver. You have indeed, said Mr. Beaver, for it is well known that to get rid of the witch, Aslan needs 4 brave and adventurous children. Aslan, cried Lucy, with a shiver of excitement. Who is Aslan? Aslan the Great, of course, said Mr. Beaver, who created this world and all of us in it. The only one more powerful than the witch. You can see Aslan is like hiding in the roof of the house. He's not really there, but yeah. Well, I guess he's kind of there in spirit. And Mrs. Beaver gathered them closer. They say he will be at the stone table by tomorrow. But shh, the wicked witch mustn't hear of it. And her spies are everywhere. They were soon so busy whispering about meeting Aslan, they did not notice Edmund sneaking out of the back. See, he's sneaking out of the house. I wonder where he's going to go. To make his way to the witch's house and more Turkish delight. But nothing could have prepared him for what he found when he got there. Every kind of creature turned to stone. Look, all these people, they turned to stone. The witch turned them to stone. And air so cold, it was frosted white. The witch's wolf captain stretched out, smirking, and the witch in the foulest mood, hating him on sight. Where are your sisters and brother? She snapped, her breath forming icicles. I'll get them to you, Edmund managed to say through chattering teeth. Right now. They're going to the stone to meet someone called Aslan? I knew it. No wonder the temperature's rising in here. Longbeard, my sleigh. Aslan and those children must not reach each other. She was not happy at all. But keeping to hidden paths and deep forest, the beavers were already leading Lucy, Peter, and Susan to meet Aslan. Sleigh bells, cried Lucy suddenly. Quick, hide! It might be her! No, look, said Mr. Beaver. It must be a sign from Aslan. Lucy looked, and her heart leaped. Father Christmas was here. He was not like any Father Christmas she'd ever heard of or seen, nor were his gifts. Cooper, it was Santa. Do you like Santa? Yes, Santa came to give them gifts. Isn't that great? That's so exciting. I bring you what your adventurers call for, he said mysteriously. Lucy held hers carefully. It was a small diamond bottle of cordial made from fire flowers, so magical that a few drops would heal the wounded. At the thought of the wounded, Lucy remembered Edmund. She had the feeling something terrible was happening to him. I hope he's okay. And it was. The witch had him tied like a prisoner and was raging at him as if it was his fault her winter was wearing out. Her sledge wasn't working and that everywhere there were signs of spring. This is crazy. It was always winter, but spring was coming. But deep down, she knew it was Aslan's doing, and she knew the prophecy. The day Aslan crowns 4 children, kings and queens of Narnia, my rule will end. Except it won't, she snarled at her lurking wolf captain. I'll defeat him yet. Go get the other 3 while I decide how best to use this fool of a boy. But defeating Aslan would never be that simple, even for the White Witch. As Lucy and Peter and Susan were discovering at the table, Aslan was nobler than any creature imaginable. He was a lion, greater than all the lions, and wonderful and terrible at the same time. For Lucy, looking at him felt like looking at the sun, only safer. When Aslan spoke, his deep, rich voice seemed to shake the very ground Lucy stood on. "Welcome, children. Long have we waited for you." He turned to the horizon. "There, in that castle, are 4 thrones. Only when 4 human children occupy them will Narnia be free again. But crowns must be earned, and that time is upon you." At this, there was great consternation among the smaller Narnians. Peter and the Beavers ran to see what it was all about. But Lucy felt she had to tell Aslan about Edmund. "He is lost, Aslan," she began, and then the words tumbled out. "Or with the witch, or taken by the witch, or something. But please, he is our brother, and he is the 4th. He must be saved." "All shall be done that must be," said Aslan. "All dealt with in turn. And first," he was interrupted by the sound of the horn Father Christmas had given Susan. She was giving warning that the witch's wolf captain was slinking toward them. See the wolf running there? The wolf was going to arrive. "Cooper, what will happen? What's going to happen next?" We won't know until we get to part 2 next time. Say bye, Coop.